Today we are going to learn how to cast onto our crochet hook, create a foundation chain, and then do the single crochet stitch. So for starters, we're going to cast on. So take the end of your yarn, you're going to drape it over, leaving a couple of inches over top of your index finger, okay? So that the tail is now towards the back of your hand. Next, you're going to crisscross the end that's attached to your skein of yarn and your tail in between your index and middle finger. So now that your tail is at the front of your hand, of your palm, and that the extra yarn is towards the back. You're now going to take the extra yarn attached to your skein and pull it over top of your index finger. So now you have 2 loops on your index finger. The first loop that you're created, we're going to pull over our second loop and release it, and that will create a knot. Pull it over and release, there's our knot. Now you can see our loop where we can just insert our hook, and then we can tighten by pulling on our extra yarn. There we have it. And now let's talk about how we hold our crochet hook and how we create our foundation chain. So I'm a righty, so I hold my crochet hook with my right hand. You transfer your work between both hands while you work, but for right now, I'm obviously holding onto my tail with my right hand. So now we have to create some slack. So we have to have some yarn that we can pull from to add to our piece. So I drape it over my index finger, and then I take my middle finger and my thumb and I hold it onto our work. So we are grabbing from this amount right here. So we're going to create 11 chains. We're going to take our yarn, bring it in the front, loop it around, grab our yarn, and we're going to pull it through that loop that we created. That's 1. And again, into the front, grab it from the back, pull it through. 3. 4. I want to adjust. 5. 6. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And the reason that we did 11 is because when we work our way back with a single crochet, we have to go into the second loop. So we're essentially dropping 1, and then we have 10 stitches that we will create. But here is our foundation chain. So we're going to work into this first loop here. And obviously with this braid that we've created, there's a top loop and there's a bottom loop. But if you also flip it over, there's also a loop that's in between those top and bottom loops on the back. Sometimes you can work into those if you so choose, or you can work into these top ones here. But we're going to work into this top one. So again, to start, we're going to create a single crochet stitch into that first stitch and then through the end of the row, and then we'll have 10 stitches. So again, let's set up our grip. So we have our yarn that's hooked in between our middle finger and over top of our index finger. We're going to take our middle finger and our thumb and hold onto our work. So we are going to go from the front, insert our hook into that first stitch, grab the yarn and pull it back to front, create another loop. So now you have 3 loops on your hook, but you're going to take that loop that's created at the start of your hook and you're going to pull it through the last 2, just like so. Let's do it again into the next stitch. Front to back, grab it, now back to front. We have 2 loops. Let's create another one and pull through 2. Let's keep going. Insert our hook, front to back, grab yarn, bring it back to front. Now we have 2 loops, add some yarn, 3 loops, and pull through 2. All right. Back to front, grab your yarn, pull through 2. Into the loop, grab your yarn, back to front, create a third, pull through 2. Insert, grab back to front and pull through, create a third, pull through 2, insert, grab, pull through with 2 loops, create 3, pull through 2, all right, grab, pull through 2, let's try that again, all right, there we go, create a third, pull through 2, insert, grab it. Working towards the ends can be tricky. You'll want to hold on to your work to stabilize. Grab your yarn, create a third, pull through 2. And now we should have 10 stitches. So let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. But if we want to work now into these stitches, we have to chain 1 to kind of create that wall on the side. Now flip your work over, and now we're going to work into these 2 stitches here, okay? Let's start with the first one. All right, so let's set up our grip, middle, and thumb. We're going to work into this stitch. Again, single crochet. So take your hook, insert front to back, grab your yarn, pull it back to front. Now we have 2, make a third, pull through 2. Insert into your loop, front to back, grab your yarn, bring it back to front, create a third loop, and pull through 2. Front to back, pull, back to front, create a third, and pull through 2. Insert, grab, back to front, create a third, pull through 2. Insert, grab, pull through, create 3, pull through 2. Insert, grab, back to front, create a third, pull through 2. Insert, grab, pull through, create a third, pull through 2. Insert, grab, pull through, create a third, pull through 2. Insert, grab, create a third, pull through 2. All right, last stitch of the row. This one can be trickier, so you might need to work it a little bit more. All right, get that onto the loop on my hook. All right, you can see both those, that braid is now on there. Reset my grip. Here we go. Grab your yarn, pull through, create a third, pull through 2. Now chain 1 and turn your work. Now we can keep working our way back. A little bit faster now. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Chain 1 and turn.